Hello everyone, welcome to Genius channel. We are going to see some previous year NDA physics questions. See the question number 54. Question number 54. A positively charged particle projected towards west is deflected towards north by magnetic field. A positively charged particle projected towards west is deflected towards north by magnetic field. The direction of magnetic field is. Okay, so this question we have already seen in our last video. So which rule you will apply here? Projected a positively charged particle projected towards west. So direction of positively charged particle means that is direction of current, isn't it? Then it is deflected towards north. It is deflected towards north. It is deflected towards north means the force is in the northward direction. You have to find the direction of magnetic field. You have to find the direction of magnetic field. So which rule you'll apply? You'll apply Fleming's left hand rule, isn't it? Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, let's apply and tell me the answer. Okay, take your left hand, point your thumb in the direction of force. Point your middle finger in the direction of magnetic field. Sorry, in the direction of current. Middle finger in the direction of current. Thumb in the direction of force. You have to get the direction of. You have to get the direction of magnetic field. Get the direction of magnetic field, all of you. It will be in upward direction. Upward direction. Okay, so what is Fleming's left hand rule? Fleming's left hand rule says that take your left hand, hold the three fingers, that is middle finger, thumb, and forefinger in the direction or mutually perpendicular. Hold them mutually perpendicular. Then the middle finger shows the direction of current. Thumb shows the direction of force. Then the forefinger is the direction of magnetic field. Forefinger will be the direction of magnetic field. Okay. Current, force, magnetic field. Okay. So on applying that, you'll get it in upward direction. So see the question number 55. Question number 55. Which one among the following properties of a proton may change while it moves freely in a magnetic field? Which one among the following properties of a proton may change while it moves freely in a magnetic field? Speed, charge, mass, velocity. Okay, read the question carefully and comment the answers, all of you. Which one among the following properties of a proton may change while it moves freely in a magnetic field? Very easy question. So what happens to an electron when it moves in a magnetic field? It gets accelerated, isn't it? When a proton or any charged object, when a charged body moves in a magnetic field, moves freely in a magnetic field, it gets accelerated, isn't it? So what is changing? Its velocity is changing. Its velocity is changing. When a proton moves freely in a magnetic field, its velocity is changing. That is option D. See the question number 56. Van de Graaff generator is used for. Van de Graaff generator is used for. Van de Graaff generator is used for. Van de Graaff generator is used for accelerating charged particles, generating large currents, generating electric field, generating high frequency voltage. Okay, so what is the answer? It is used for generating high frequency voltage. It is used for generating high frequency voltage. Generating high frequency voltage. Move to the next question, question number 57. The phenomenon of electromagnetic induction implies production of induced. The phenomenon of electromagnetic induction implies a production of induced resistance in a coil when the magnetic field change with time, current in a coil when an electric field change with time, current in a coil when a magnetic field change with time, voltage in a coil when an electric field change with time. So what is the answer? Very easy question. Just you need to know what is electromagnetic induction to answer this question. All of you comment the answers. Please comment the answers. Okay, so listen. What is electromagnetic induction? Electromagnetic induction is production of an induced current or induced EMF, but when magnetic field linked with the coil changes. Remember the experiment? We have a coil. We are bringing a magnet towards the coil, then moving it away. So like that, we are repeatedly doing. What we see? We'll see a deflection in the galvanometer kept here, isn't it? We'll see a deflection in the galvanometer. Okay, so that indicates what? That it indicates that the magnetic, there is a production of an induced current. Okay, so how does this induced current is produced? Due to the relative movement of this magnet and the coil. Okay, that means whenever the magnetic field linked with the coil changes, whenever the magnetic field linked with the coil changes, what is produced? A current is produced in it. Whenever magnetic field linked with the coil is changing, a current is induced. Okay, so that is current in a coil, production of a current in a coil when the magnetic field changes with time. When magnetic field changes with time. So there is nothing to do with resistance in the case of electromagnetic induction. And we are not changing the electric field to get current. We are changing the magnetic field to get the current. Okay, we are changing the magnetic field to get the current. So answer is option C. Next is question number 58. A force F acting on an electric charge in presence of an electric field moves the charge parallel to the magnetic field with velocity v, then F is equal to a force F acting on an electric charge Q in presence of an electromagnetic field moves the charge particle to the magnetic field with velocity v. Moves the charge particle parallel, okay, to the magnetic field with velocity v, then F is equal to, where E and B are electric field and magnetic field respectively. You have to find what is F. Try, all of you. Okay. See, listen. Here, what they are saying, the force. We know this force. What is this force known as? This force is Lorentz force, isn't it? Lorentz force. And Lorentz force F is equal to what? F is equal to Q into E plus V cross B, isn't it? E plus V cross B. Why? Because here we have both electric as well as magnetic field, isn't it? So Lorentz force is when it is a force acting on a particle when it is kept in both electric and magnetic field. So it will have the effect of electric field as well as it will have the effect of magnetic field. It will have the effect of electric field as well as magnetic field. So it will be like this. Now here you see the particle moves the charge parallel to magnetic field. Parallel to magnetic field. Okay, so parallel to magnetic field means what? This V cross B will be 0, isn't it? V cross B will be 0. Parallel to magnetic field means V cross means VB sin theta. VB sin theta. So parallel means theta is equal to 0 degree, or if it is anti-parallel, it is 180 degree. In both case, theta, sin theta is 0. So V cross B is becoming 0. Okay, whether it is sin 0 or sin 180, answer V cross B is becoming 0. So this part is becoming 0. So F is equal to Q into E. Only this the electric field will have effect because charge is parallel to the, well, that means the charge moves parallel to magnetic field. That means V cross B is equal to 0. So F is equal to QE. Answer is option A. F is equal to QE. Only it will have the effect of electric field. F is equal to QE. Moving to the next question. So before that, just copy down. This is Lorentz force. Lorentz force F is equal to QE plus QV cross B. So here V cross B is equal to 0, right? See the reason, charge moves parallel to the magnetic field. So we have only F is equal to QE. Okay. So next question. So the question is, for which among the following house appliances magnet is an essential part? For which of the following house appliances magnet is an essential part? Okay. Options: calling bell, washing machine, fan, all of this. So the answer is all the above. That is all of this. What we do in all these three, we use what? We use magnet. Okay. So next is question number 44. Question number 44. A torque on a rectangular coil. A torque on a rectangular coil placed in a uniform magnetic field is large when the torque on a rectangular coil placed in a uniform magnetic field is large when the number of turns is large, number of turns is less, plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field, area of the coil is small. Okay, all of you read the question. Torque on a rectangular coil placed in a uniform magnetic field is large when the number of turns is large, number of turns is less, plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field, area of the coil is small. Okay, I want all of you to read the question and comment the answers. I'll give you 20 seconds, comment the answer. So option C, the plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field. And option D, area of the coil is small. So which is the correct? Torque on a rectangular coil placed in a uniform magnetic field is large. In which case? So read the options and comment the answers, all of you. Torque on a rectangular coil placed in a uniform magnetic field is large. Whether it is when number of turns is large, number of turns is less, plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field, or whether area of the coil is small. So what is the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer is option C. Torque is large when plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Torque acting on a rectangular coil is large when the plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field. All of you note down the answer. Torque is large when plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay, we know torque tau is equal to M cross B, isn't it? Torque tau is equal to M cross B. Okay, so that means MB, that is MB sine theta. So when torque is large when sine theta is equal to 1. That means theta is equal to 90 degree, isn't it? When theta is equal to 90 degree. Okay, so theta is equal to 90 degree. That means this coil should have plane of the coil should be perpendicular to the magnetic field. Then only we can expect maximum torque. Okay, so moving to the next question. Question number 45. Question number 45. Consider the following statements. If a piece of bar magnet is broken into two equally long pieces, if a piece of bar magnet is broken into two equally long pieces, then the pieces will not lose the magnetic properties. Next statement, magnetic properties of the substance lie in the atomic level. If a piece of bar magnet is broken into two equally long pieces, then the pieces will not lose the magnetic properties. Second statement, magnetic properties of substance lie in the atomic level. Okay, so you have to check which of the four statements is correct. Whether it is only one, whether it is only two, or both one and two, or neither one nor two. So what is the correct option? Okay, read statements 2 times and then say your answer. Read, whenever you get a statement questions, you have to read that 2 times, clarify, and then answer. Yes. So what is the answer? Whether first statement is correct, if a piece of bar magnet is broken into two equally long pieces, like this, okay, then it will not lose magnetic properties, isn't it? Suppose this is north south. Now when it is broken, it will be like a north south, then it will be north south. Okay, so that means it will become two magnets, so it will not lose the magnetic properties. That is correct. The first statement is correct. Now see the second statement. Magnetic properties of a substance lie in the atomic level. Magnetic property of the substance lie in the atomic level. It is correct, isn't it? So you might have studied in your chemistry, you might have studied spin quantum number, isn't it? Spin quantum number. Spin quantum number, then azimuthal quantum number, principal quantum number, magnetic quantum number. Remember magnetic quantum number, etc. So that influences the magnetic property of an atom. Okay, so the magnetic property of a material lies in the atomic level. According to that only, we are classifying the elements as paramagnetic, ferromagnetics, etc. Okay, so magnetic property of a substance lie at atomic level. So the both the statements are correct. Okay, both the statements are correct. So answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Option C, both 1 and 2. So here the answer is both 1 and 2, option C. Okay. Thank you everyone. See you in another video with more questions.